everybody, Mike Johnson from PWinsiderTV here with the grand champion of CHIKARA, Eddie Kingston.
So, first off, we get going. Alex Reynolds, I saw your tweet that you sent to me in PWI Insider. I'm not putting you over. You're one of the worst wrestlers I've ever seen in my life. And I hate John Silver, too. I want to punch you in the back of the head and spit on you. Now we can go.
All right, now we can go.
Now we can
a little bit of heat with the NYWC boys there.
Bring it!
So, 2012 going into 2013 was an interesting year for you. You kind of got yourself a little bit of better shape. You won the CHIKARA championship. There's been some talk about you maybe going to Japan in the next year. What about the last year kind of helped turn the corner for you? Because you were always a guy that worked hard and was considered a good brawler and a good talker in IWA and CZW and all that.
IWA Mid-South.
But IWA Mid-South.
Bringing that back.
But the last year you really seemed to kind of take it to the next level. You had a little small run at Urban Wrestling on pay-per-view. You got to do some pay-per-view stuff. You got to work in a bunch of different places. So what about the last year kind of really stands out to you in comparison to the previous years?
Well, when I got the phone call that I was going to go to Osaka Pro, I said, I don't want to go there in bad shape. So I was like, you know what? I got to get my ass to the gym and tan and be a wrestler. You know what I mean? Like, my whole career, I guess you could say I gave 80%, even though my passion was always 110%. But, not going to the gym, not doing the other side of wrestling. So I was like, you know what? I got to give it 110% because I didn't want to embarrass myself in Osaka. And that kind of motivated me. And then, winning the grand championship motivated me more, and I was like, I just got to keep going. It's hard. I got a lot of demons, I like to drink, I like to eat, and then I'm a manic depressive. Everything's up and down with me, you know what I mean? So I just try to keep my head on straight, you know what I mean? And I'm trying to take over the world now. I'm 31 years old. It's done playing wrestling. It's time to be a wrestler, That's the way I look at it now.
One of the, winning the CHIKARA, being the first CHIKARA Grand Champion, obviously a big nod to you personally from management there. For people who kind of look at CHIKARA and they kind of dismiss it as, it's the guys running around just like ants, and it's the guys doing lucha. Yeah. What do you say to people? Because look, you're their champion. You are the farthest thing from that alleged stereotype of the company.
I can do lucha though.
You can do lucha. Because you were trained in the CHIKARA Wrestle Factory. But what do you say to fans who kind of look at CHIKARA and they hear names like Quackenbush and Jigsaw and they just dismiss it, sight unseen, without seeing what it is? Because to me, I understand that. But then when you go to King of Trios or you go to one of the pay-per-views or even just one of the house shows, there's so much good wrestling on it in comparison to what you see on your average independent.
Well, you got to give that up. Like, the way the shows are run, you got to give that up to the management. You know what I mean? They do their thing. And, I tell people, don't knock it till you see it. If you're knocking it before you even see it, then, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, then you're a fucking idiot. How are you going to knock something you never seen? You know what I mean? And I understand the guys wear masks and there's a lot of lucha and stuff, but it's different. It's not something you're going to see on Monday or Thursday night. You know what I mean? You're not going to see it any other indie. It's different, and you got to be different to make it in this business, in my opinion. You have to be something that stands out. So, don't knock it until you see it. If you see it and you don't like it, that's your opinion. And like my beautiful Puerto Rican mother always says, opinions are like assholes. Everyone got them and they all stink. But watch it first. Watch it first.
Sweet little quote from Mama Kingston.
That's right. She don't fuck around.
Now I always say you're like a throwback to the old school of pro wrestling. I always compare you to Dick Murdoch.
So that was one of my guys that I watched when I was able to tape trade and stuff like that. That was one of the dudes that I watched, and I was like, he is amazing.
Right. So I was actually going to ask you, what was it about wrestling that you first fell in love with?
Well, the first moment I could say that I fell in love with wrestling, living in University Avenue in the Bronx when I was a kid, all we got was WWF. When my father wanted to watch Inside the NFL, during the winter, he would get illegal cable. And that's when I was able to watch NWA, /WCW. And I just remember this one Dusty Rhodes promo when I was a kid, and he said, put your hand up against the screen and together we'll win the World Heavyweight Championship. And as a kid, I went, and I put my hand up against the screen, and that just made me love pro wrestling. And, I remember growing up, and I've said it in a million interviews, to me, WWF was fake, NWA was real. It got really real in NWA, you know what I mean? Dusty and Rick really hated each other, I thought, and Tully Blanchard, one of my personal favorites, was really that asshole, and that's what made me fall in love with wrestling, I remember, was that Dusty promo. And then later on, when we moved to Yonkers, we got cable, and I would see Global, and I would see Eddie Gilbert, and he was the first guy that made me say, okay, I want to do it. I can do it. So I always go back to Eddie Gilbert, and I remember, promos always got me as a kid, because promos were used to hype up the show. It wasn't just to be like, all right, go ahead, bro, talk for 30 seconds, go, about nothing. The promos were about hyping a show, hyping a pay-per-view, hyping the rivalry or feud you were in. And I remember Eddie Gilbert, he just got burnt in the face. And he was cutting his promo, and it was all dark, and they were showing promos here and there. They're about to start. And he ripped off the bandage that he had, and he had this huge, black eye and burn mark, and he starts laughing at the camera. And I was just like, I was stuck. And, guys like that got me. And I remember, too, I was thinking about this the other day. I didn't know what made a good match. I still don't, to be honest. I just go with the flow. But I remember watching Steamboat and Douglas against the Hollywood Blondes. And as a kid, you don't know what makes a good match. You're just sitting there and you're going in your head, this is what wrestling is. And I remember that match, those matches, especially I think the one, the Clash of Champions, right, was one of the matches that I was like, oh, that got me stuck too as well.
You kind of get drawn in. You're like, I don't know who's going to win, but it's good.
You don't know why it's good, but it's good.
Yeah. So, there's not that many old school type guys around anymore in terms of you look at you, okay? You look like an old school barroom brawler, all right? You and Dick Murdoch should have been sitting at the bar in the wrestler with Dusty Rhodes.
Larry Sweeney used to call me, he used to compare me to Greg Valentine and AWA wrestler. I can't believe I can't remember his name. He teamed up with Ray Stevens.
Oh, Nick Bockwinkel?
Not Nick Bockwinkel. Not Ray Stevens. He was a tag team though, AWA. The Bruiser, was it?
Bruiser and the Crusher.
Yes, the Crusher used to call me. There we go.
I can see that.
I can't believe I feel like such a dick.
As such an old school guy, does it bother you? You don't see that many guys like that anymore. One of the things I love about wrestling is there used to always be all these different characters, and now everybody kind of looks pretty much the same. You either got smaller cruiserweight guys, or you've got the bigger, cut, chiseled guys, and you kind of lose something in the translation.
Well, maybe you do, but it don't bother me because that makes me stand out. So good for me, right?
Right.
But if I want to make money, I got to lose weight and get a little bigger. You know what I mean? But again, like I said, I got demons, and when the demons catch up to me, I drink. So I don't think I'm going to lose the gut. It may get smaller. I don't know if I'm going to lose it.
And it's a strange business to try and clean yourself up into working, considering a big part of it is going out and working nights.
It's different now because I see a lot of guys that are straight edge or that don't drink and are real into healthy stuff, and there I am. We're going to the bar, right? We wrestle. Anyway, we have a show tomorrow. That's cool, but we got to wake up at 10 a.m. to get to the show. That's fine, bro. We'll be good. Let's just get a couple of drinks. So
you've had a chance to work in a lot of different places. What are the matches that kind of stand out for you as the atypical, or I should say the epitome of the Eddie Kingston? Is it the hero stuff? Is it IWA? You've had a lot of chances and a lot of opportunities in different places. What really stands out to you as the most important Eddie Kingston matches in your history?
Me and Mike Quackenbush from High Noon. That was probably the best shape I was my whole career. And just got back from Japan. I was feeling good about myself. I was feeling confident. Granted, my my knee was not, good at all. But the emotion of that match, and I remember a couple people who I respect in the business said it felt like ECW. And as fans of mine, no idea why you're a fan of mine, but thank you. Fans of mine know that I'm a huge ECW guy. ECW saved me and brought me back to wrestling. So to hear that they compared it to that was an honor. So I say me and Mike Quackenbush. And the hero stuff was fun because I didn't like him. I still don't like him. Fuck you. Cassius, oh no. I don't give a fuck. I'm not going to Florida anytime soon for them, so I don't give a shit. And we beat the shit out of each other. We did business, but we beat the shit out of each other. Fuck him. Fuck you. And fuck Claudio. Antonio Cesaro, whatever the fuck they want to call you. Fuck you too. Everyone said I should be happy. Yeah, I'm sour grapes. Fuck you. Alright? There we go. PW Inside. How? Get at me.
Alright, there you go. Eddie, I want to thank you for your time. I look forward to doing another one of these with you soon down the line.
I'm all about it, man. Shout out to my man Homicide, to the whole DHS family, Outlaw Clique. What up? Let's do it, man. Let's get it. 2013, man.
All right, and we thank you for watching PW Insider TV because you've been writing on your Twitter how much you like it.
I love it, man. And also, I love Twitter. I know a lot of the boys don't follow me because I tweet too much about random dumb shit. But that's me. That's how I do.
Well, where can the fans follow you on Twitter?
At CHIKARA Kingston.
All right. Well, there you go. Follow Eddie Kingston at CHIKARA Kingston. And until next time here on PWinsiderTV, we thank you, Eddie, and we thank all of you for watching.
Hey!